Done.
Christine,
Yes,
just to make sure that we speak up.
okay. Will do my best. Okay, do you want to pull the PowerPoint too? Thank you. Great. All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. This is the public pre-con meeting for the skate park project on Route 33. Let's get started. Next slide, please, Stephanie. So we'll do project team introductions. My name is Christine Sparviero. I am the DPW project manager for the skate park. Tonight with us, we also have Peter Rice, Director of Public Works, Todd Henley, Director of Recreation. We have our contractor, David Burke with Burke Construction, skate park designer from Pillar Design. Unfortunately, couldn't make it tonight, but we have the engineer and EOR, Brandon Kunkel from Weston Sampson with us as well. And next slide, please. So
Just a quick note, Councilor Blaylock is here as well.
Yes.
Councilor Blaylock.
thank you for coming. So the agenda is going to be pretty short. We're just going to talk about the purpose of the project, the overview, the construction schedule, initial construction, and what we can expect. And then we will open it up for public comment. So the purpose of the meeting is to present our final layout and design, introduce contractor. Should you have any questions, introduce the engineer, resident project representative, and prepare the community for construction. So the purpose of the project, as everyone knows, is we want to provide a high quality facility for Portsmouth skate park community as well as surrounding communities. And we really wanted to transform a vacant lot into a beautiful new space for the community to enjoy, which includes spectators, family and friends of skaters, as well as community members who are just curious about the sport. And in addition, we are cutting in rail trail access from the lot. As you can see, this is what the lot looks like right now. To the east, we have Islington Street, south is Route 33, and here is the rail trail that we'll be tying into. The rail trail access will be outside of the skate park footprint, a little bit up more, but it will be accessible. To the next slide, please. Thank you. So this is the layout. The skate park is going to be at the front of the lot. So you can see the landscaping, where the parking lot will be, curb radius for turning should anyone have any concerns about traffic. And yeah, we can go on to the next slide. These are just some 3D renderings of the finished product that we will have. Obviously, there's not landscaping in there, but I think most people really just care about the skate park itself. So we have one more slide with some more 3D renderings. And we can move to the next slide after this. So the construction schedule is, we kept it pretty simple. Bids were received in March. We rewarded the project in April, and construction is going to start this month, hopefully within the next few weeks. And construction ends in spring 2024. The bulk of the construction will be completed, hopefully late fall, winter. But because it is ending so late in the season, we can't do loam, seed, and plantings until the spring of 2024. Let's see, so again, start date, May, work hours per city ordinance is between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. You can expect mobilization of equipment on site, construction vehicles entering and exiting the site, but the amount of vehicles entering is going to be not a huge change from what's already going on there. Next, please. Thank you. And for any questions or updates for the project, there's the link below. The email sign up is also in notifications, and also for anyone who came in that did not sign in, I ask that you do so. We use those emails to keep people informed. Next one, please. Okay, and then we can just open up for questions, comments, and concerns.
Well, great, yes. So you mentioned the construction will end in next spring. Would they be, I know that entails the loaming and stuff this year, would the kids be able to skate earlier than that, or was that, you know what I mean? Is that just stuff around the skate park, or
So yes, it is stuff around the skate park.
like in a sense, when would be the first day? So
It really comes down to a matter of whether it's substantially complete, and, you know, we work closely with the contractor. Because once you accept it as substantially complete, it becomes, you know, the warranty period starts. And so there are opportunities, you know, but we haven't discussed how we would go about structuring, so they need a substantial completion to get activity going, and then have, you know, outstanding punch list items. There are ways to do it, but, you know, we haven't talked about that yet. But we are aware that the goal is to get this skatable by the end of, you know, the end of the fall. And that's our hope. But you know, construction is construction.
Yeah.
You know, to go quick, we can go slow, you know. So we're doing the best to crystal ball where we're gonna be.
Have you guys decided on the date for like a breaking ground ceremony? Are we gonna do that, or?
That hasn't been determined whether this can be a formal groundbreaking ceremony.
Okay.
We'll have a conversation with the mayor and the city manager to see if that's something they would like to do.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and ask a few questions if anyone else is chomping at the bit. So I'm Michael Mandrioli. Along with Andrew and Brandon Sherburne, I'm probably the major butter to this project. Man, would you mind going back to slide 4 or 5 that had
The layout.
the layout and I guess the terrain map.
With the parking lot show,
The drawing or the?
Looks like it was slide 6.
the black and white road.
No. Well, 6 is the actual and then 7 is the.
Let's go to 6, please.
Yeah, 7, 6 or 7.
6, please. All right, great. I know the folks online won't be able to see this, but, all right, so this is, versus the CB, I'm sorry. This is Andy and Brandon's land right here. And as you can see, 1877, this is my wife and I, we purchased this land in October, moved in October. And we like to call ourselves Sherburne Island because as you can see, we're completely surrounded by Andy and Brandon's land. This is approximately where the parking lot would be for all this land. This is where the parking lot's going to be. This is our bedroom right there on the corner of this one. So we're probably 20 or 30 yards away from where the cars are going to be parked facing the headlights. Have there been any other additional plans to add fencing or greenery or anything to construct some barrier along right with the parking lot, right along the barrier?
There has not, no.
Okay. My neighbor, Andy, couldn't make it here. And Brenner wouldn't be able to make it tonight, but I'm asked to speak on his behalf as well. We do have some concerns about the parking lot being right next to the parkland. Namely, the fact that folks might be enticed to explore into the woods behind where the cars are, either to use facilities in the woods or dares of people to hop our fence, maybe knock on the door, maybe be throwing trash or debris, see if you can hit the house with a beer bottle, that sort of thing. We do have some concerns around that. So I would love to see maybe some amendments to this project as far as constructing a fence to prevent any trespassing. Or a great suggestion that my neighbor Andy had was, wow, we have a construction company on site using the staging area that what it is now, this site is right now. I mean, a great construction company, may I add. There is so much fill on site. Why not use some of that fill to construct a berm behind the parking lot? Maybe add some evergreen, we're talking like a 10 or 12 foot berm it would deter people from trespassing. It would also block some of the sound for us. It would also prevent some of the lighting coming in. I don't know, I don't think lighting is part of the initial project, but I know that in the city planning meeting, it was put forth as something that would be hopeful down the line.
A lighting is a part of the.
It is now part of the
Yes.
project, okay. Is there a full photonics plan of how far the lighting is, what the strength of the lighting is, and how far it will be casting?
Yes,
Okay.
it is on the website.
It is, okay.
Yeah, if you go under, just go to purchasing, and you can see all the documents that will.
Great, we'll be taking a look at that for sure. I know that because like, with the nature of this project and how the additional budget was readily accepted, I believe in a matter of 48 hours. I don't think that something like this is A, too much to ask, or B, out of question of the budget of the whole project to be constructed along the line for additional measures of security for us butters. Am I forgetting anything else? Yeah. Or even just considerations to move the parking lot. If the project really is to maybe have access to the rail trail down the line, sorry, I keep touching this. In my day, these weren't touch screens. Because of the nature of the end all project is maybe to have a trailhead for this Boston Main Railroad Trail. Maybe we could consider putting the parking lot over here. I know you guys are already pretty close to breaking ground and ready to go, but I'd be remiss if I did not express some of our concerns and hope that this is a great project. It's not that we don't want to see this happen. We're happy that it's underway. We're very excited to be here. It's a great thing for the community. Let's just make sure that there are measures in place to respect the neighbors the way that we're going to respect the community park that's going to be there. Any other questions for me?
No, thank you for your comments and input.
I have a question, just like a little bit of follow-up to what you said. I believe in the place where you were suggesting maybe the parking lot would go, is that where the field is going to be? Isn't there going to be a grassy field back there?
No, well, there's going to be a grassed area around the park, but
So, and Amy's referring to the master plan of the area, not the specific project.
okay.
So that master plan is posted on the city's website, so you can see that. So we appreciate the input, we understand the concerns, and I understand.
So is that the grass field isn't going in at this time?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
The area will be loamed and seeded around the skate park itself, but not the large expanse.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, right.
Yeah, the skate park it's phase 1 and phase 2. Skate park is phase 1, and then what we will do to the back of the lot is considered phase 2.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
What was the, like, was there a structural or engineering, forgive me, it's not my line of work, so I'm not sure if I'm using the right terms. Was there an engineering or structural reason to put the parking lot right there? And was there a reason that it was not considered to move after the city planning meeting?
So from a transportation perspective and pulling in and out of the lot itself, that is the preferred location. It allows for their, topographically, there's a low spot on the other side of the skate park near the rail trail. So you would actually be pulling up an embankment to get onto Greenland Road. So this is as flat as we're gonna get to Greenland Road, and it provides the greatest view distances for oncoming traffic.
Understood. Has there been any solicitation of quotes for fencing or any other sort of barriers?
Along the barrier between your property and the, no, there's not.
Would we be able to come to some agreement to maybe start to look into some of those?
Not at this time. Not at this time. Right now, we have a contract with Pork that that we're working off of. If there are, we'll look at what your concerns are, we understand them. We'll look and see, not part of this project, this isn't gonna be a series of projects in this location. So if your concerns are visual buffer and things like that, once we've got the area graded out, a feel for the parking space, we'll have a better feel for what the impacts are on your property. So we'll have a chance to revisit this. This is not a final thing, that this site is going to be active for a number of years relative to projects. So at this point, a fence is not included in this particular project. As you said, it is a very expensive project, and the monies that have been allocated to it. So in the big scheme of things, a fence is not significantly a lot of additional money, but it's not part of what this project is right now. So we'll continue. We're aware of what your request is, but we're not at this time ready to speak or commit to what exactly, if anything, is going to be done.
What was the budget increase that remind me, Sarah, what was the budget increase that just passed recently in the past, about 1 or 2?
It was to address the difference between the original opinion and cost and what the bid amount was.
Sure, for materials, cost of.
Cost of
increases in
materials, cost of
materials.
labor, cost of, you know, all
And
of
what was the amount of that increase in budget?
$1,085,000.
Yes.
Yeah, it was significant.
Okay, so if a budget increase of that significance was so readily approved,
It wasn't very big.
So I'm not saying we're not saying no to your request. I'm saying it's not part of this existing project, and it's not part of the existing budget. It needs to be reviewed, and it would need to be, I'm not saying the monies aren't available to do this type of work. What I am saying is that we need to review it and see where we're at as the project's going.
that's.
So you threw a number of options out there. So, we need to see what's reasonable, what's appropriate.
Thank you, sir. That's a much better answer than your first one. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
So I have another question. So Scott Bafford, 19 Mill Road. So and I know this is a pre-construction meeting, but what sort of security is being built in as far as the plan overall?
No different than it is right now.
Nothing,
No different than it is right now. We have a gate.
so nothing.
So what I appreciate your concern. The area is going to be lit. So there'll be opportunity for the police to drive by. They are aware of this project. They've given their opinion relative to where the parking should be forward. So, we're not going to put concertina wire up and that type of thing. We don't anticipate a problem with security. The kids go out there already to the BMX area where they ride their bikes. There's a lot of activity along the railroad track. As you know, having lived here for a long time.
I'm more concerned about the kids' security is what I'm knowing, because there's a heavy homeless population that travels up through that. So I'm more concerned with that aspect than.
Sure,
you know,
sure, but what we found with, it's like, with daylight, you get less problems, with more people visible, with more people being there, you get less, challenges. Because the homeless folks don't want to interact with people here.
And so with, and we just have to follow Rich and he wants to be done. So, this Rich,
Yes.
So, and so as far as the lighting goes into the neighborhood, the other neighbor's point, right, is, so there'll be some sort of security lighting at night, so as the police do patrol, they'll be able to not only get in there, but they'll be able to see, some of those.
Yeah, the lighting, parking lot lighting,
Yeah.
skate park lighting will be based on a timer system. Be able to be turned off remotely, so when the kids aren't actively skating, there will not be light in that area. But in the parking lot, there will be lights.
Okay.
And it's night sky friendly lighting, it's LED lighting, it's very specific, it doesn't splay out a lot. If you've noticed on the streets, ever since we changed that out, you don't get a lot of overlapping light, or lots of light, so it's not.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're worried about, obviously, the luminous spillage, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and that's understandable. So that's good, and just one last thing, so is there any other sort of, and I'm not even sure the hours of operation. Is there any other sort of, like the police will be able to do it, it's just gonna be open access to this? It'll be an open parking lot.
There is a gate at the
That will be
entrance.
closed?
Yes.
Gotcha, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and Scott, just you understand too, that when it came to getting extra money, we brought an option to the skaters, all right, and what they wanted, whether they wanted lighting, or we actually had in the middle of the project, a building that they could, get underneath, get away from the sun and everything else. The skaters unanimously asked for more safety by having the lighting. And in turn for that, we pushed any type of structure away. So the kids themselves, voiced a concern about being lit down there, being safe down there. And like I said, when they were given an option, they all unanimously chose to go with the lighting for safety.
Perfect. And that's really part of where I'm going, right, especially with the cost of this project, is I don't want to see something happen like that where we drop something operational off the table out of the gate, where it's really a safety issue, right? So,
The thing about skateboard parks too is, from the skateboard's point of view, is they're self-police. We've been fighting for this park for 16 years. I'm not gonna let kids show up and trash your yard. We're not gonna let kids come in and vandalize it. We had a skateboard spot behind the Button Factory for many years where homeless people were controlled. It was, you get out now, and as far as people jumping your fence and throwing bottles at your house, it will not be, there's no way humanly possible that will be a fact. People have respect for you as a neighbor, knowing that this park was by the skin of our teeth. I've been fighting for this park for 16 years. This isn't something that came about yesterday and we're gonna trash the neighborhood and we're gonna go across the street to Calvary and knock over gravestones. It's the same respect you're gonna get out of Plains Field with kids playing baseball in parks in front of your house. There's not gonna be a level of disrespect for the neighborhood. These kids have been educated, they will continue to be educated by the older generation of skateboarders, by Ian, who owns the skateboard shop. It's a very self-policed institution, because if this park gets taken away because these kids are messing up, that's on me, and it's me, I'm gonna deal with it, and it's not gonna happen, because everybody wants this park for the same exact reasons. And it'll be policed, it'll be, pick up your trash or don't come back. Graffiti, you're done, get out, don't come back, it's that simple.
And just to add to that, in the city council, we originally funded, $2 million skate park. And like Chris said, that took 16 years to get to that point. And then the construction costs obviously went up, because every construction cost went up. And then we've been ripping our butts off trying to fundraise for the lights. And we decided as a council that we needed to have a safe skate park. And given the hours here in the winter time, it wouldn't be that usable for kids when they get out of school and when the sun goes down. So making it safe, making it usable was obviously our priorities if we were gonna have one. But to get to that point was not easy by any means. And whenever we fund something, it means we're not funding something else. So that means like that's another police officer we're not hiring, or that's another teacher we're not giving a raise or something, or a resource officer. So everything has a give and take. None of those decisions are taken lightly by any of us.
Understood. And thank you for the comments, gentlemen in the yellow hat, thank you for your comments about it.
We will respect your yard, it's the same as my yard, there will be no disrespect. And if there ever is, you just let someone older at the park know, and it'll be handled, because the skateboard park is a self-policed. And we'll work with the police, I'm not saying the police won't be a presence, but like, we've been fighting for this, this isn't, some kid threw a ramp up on the end of a dead end street, kids are gonna come skate it and leave their trash. It doesn't work like that. If you go to skateboard parks in the area and you see the respect, and it's, if you're there and you're not skating, you're kind of shuffled along. We don't want that there. We don't need that there. And part of deleting like the shade structure was to get rid of we don't want people lurking in the middle of the park and causing trouble, or as simple as sitting there spitting gum on the ground. That doesn't work. It doesn't happen. I mean, sure, there's cases where skateboard parks are in the wrong neighborhood, but that spot was chosen for the visibility. It was chosen for the accessibility and being in relation to Plains Field, where parents can kind of coexist their kid plays baseball and their kid skateboards, it's gonna work for everybody involved. And, you know, when we first went to look at that site, we met the people that lived in that house. And I'm assuming they moved out because she was so into it. She was walking her dog to the park and she was so excited that there was gonna be a skateboard park, not only in her community, but in her backyard. And it won't be a problem.
Thank you. And I'd like to say that during the planning meeting, I did prepare my remarks a little better and was a little more eloquent in saying that we too, when we bought the house, we knew the skate park was going in. But we do not want this to not happen. We were very adamant, and I also went out of my way then to say that there is no distinction for us between the nature of the sport. There's no prejudice towards skateboarding or skateboarders. We would feel the same way if Plains Field was building another baseball field right there in the park. So I just wanted to make sure that we say that as well. How about I know that this gentleman over here, my neighbor said something about the gate as well. So the lights will turn off and the gate will close after operating hours are
It won't be an automated, the lights over the skate area are tied to, they are wireless, so we can, log on and turn the button off. The gate itself will need to be manually shut, it's not gonna be tied to, like, hit a button and it's gonna close.
Sure.
It's gonna be similar to what it's, in terms of the function, it's stand now, it's gonna be stouter, but it'll be pretty much the same type of gate.
Okay, so it'll be like, again, like a self-policed thing where, the last skater leaves for the night and they close the gate, lock it.
That becomes a operational question. If it appears to be problematic, it becomes part of a regular daily routine, and Todd's group manages the programming side of things. So we need to, similar to what happens in the ball field back here, is a similar type of gate. The gate doesn't always get locked. If we had to start having problems, then we'll have to adjust and see what we have for issues. There's also the bike trail that's being built right now. So you're gonna have other folks other than the skaters coming in there that are gonna use the bike trail.
Yeah, I use it every day. It's great.
So if there are no other questions, the drawings are right here, people can, look at them. I'd love to just chat with you briefly afterwards, and, see where, look forward to get the project started. We've got a great team, and it's gonna, construction can be disruptive at times. But we've done this before, and, the contractor's experienced. We'll get this done. All right, thank you very much.